When are our football players and coaches going to learn that the media is not your friend? When are they going to learn that they smile and laugh with you in the media room, but they're looking for a headline? They're looking for a quote. They're looking for something that they can hold against you. And it's kind of weird, especially in this situation, because Udebza has gotten into trouble because of a press conference before. The reason, allegedly, why he wasn't playing those Sundowns games was because of him laughing at a press conference when his coach was saying something. Was the drama that was created by that moment. So when Udebza comes out and says that he doesn't normally play in front of full stadiums, and he had to take advantage of it, and he was just being honest, him of all people, he of all people has to understand the repercussions of loose words. I'm going to start off with the player because I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you saw what happened last time. Maybe if you are going to be brought out for a press conference, you have to be businesslike. Because no one's going to care that you send a message to a friend later on speaking about, no, it was meant in the Bafana sense that when Bafana plays, outside of when they play in the Free State and all of those places, it's normally not a full house. The pain is going to go directly to Mamelodi Sundowns fans. Makesi is out for blood when they face Mamelodi Sundowns in the Carling Black Label Knockout Cup final this weekend. And Superbets wants to make sure that you don't miss out on this game or watch it on TV. They want you in the stadium and they're giving away 5 double tickets and your share of 10,000 Rand. So if Velo, I know you want to see if Umangoba can bring Mamelodi Sundowns their first non-league local trophy since the last time he was head coach with the other guy, all you have to do is follow the link in my profile and the one that's in the description of this video, register on the Superbets site, deposit 50 Rand, and then comment #SuperBetsOVF on all of their social media platforms. Then you'll be able to see if Coach Larson can win another knockout trophy to go with the one he won with Bloemfontein Celtic in 2012, or if Sundowns can finally prove that all that was standing in their way was Orlando Pirates. Either way, this match is going to be incredible and you can watch it live thanks to Superbets. They're not going to care about the context of what you're saying. They're not going to care about the question that was asked. You are now sitting in a situation where you started them. And they're going to take it personally, especially knowing your earlier situation from this season. There's a lot of questions being asked about Mokoena. So yes, is it your nature to joke around? Yes, are you being honest? That all may be true. But when you add context and when you add your situation to this, then it's a whole story that goes in a whole different direction. And what's worse is that he was even given a chance to change that statement. If you listen to when he was speaking, somebody said, you're going to be misquoted. Somebody said that, you're going to be misquoted. And he said, no, I'm being honest. And it is true, Sundowns doesn't have a crowd. It is true, Bafana doesn't have a crowd. But now, you've done something different. Which then brings me on to the people who are running the press for Bafana. You've had so many instances this year, last season, over the past 2 years, where Hugo Bruce had said something about rulani off the cuff. Then you had to clean it up in the next 2 weeks. Hugo Bruce had said something about Njabulo Plom being injured. The team responded and he had to come out and clean it up. Hugo Bruce had said something loose about Kaizer Chiefs. he had to come and clean it up 2 weeks later. At what point do you take this press thing seriously and this public relations PR thing seriously? Because for me, if I knew that there was a player that had caused some drama in a press conference, then your coach came out and caused even more drama when he spoke about it, then that forced the coach of Mamelodi Sundowns to come out and say something because of all of that preceding drama. Surely at some point you look at it and you say, we can't take any risks. We cannot, a week away from a Carling Black Label knockout final where Mamelodi Sundowns is going to be taking part, we cannot be taking Sundowns players and putting them in front of the media. Let alone Mokoena. We cannot be taking those players and putting them in front of the media so that the media can look for their headline. We cannot be taking Hugo Bruce after he announces the squad and allowing him to sit and laugh with his media friends, only to wake up to heavy headlines tomorrow. Do we take public relations seriously in this country? Because somebody should have jumped in and said, no guys, let's not ask that question. Somebody should have jumped in and said, okay, what he means by this is 1, 2, and 3. Or at the very least by now, there should have been a statement released so that you can stop everything that's happening. And this is where I look at the professionals that we have in these jobs and say, but guys, don't you understand the media? Debza, don't you see what people are trying to do? When you ask that question, you know it's leading into the Sundown side of it. Even if you had answered that question without mentioning the full crowd, why are they asking you about something that happened so long ago? And what are the repercussions of the words that you're going to say? Tomorrow is going to come out and speak to, this week, when the press conference happens for the Carling Black Label knockout final, Ukosh Mangoba is going to be asked about this. Similar to the way that he was asked about you being dropped all this time. And I think the last thing I want to say before we get into the preview of Bafana is to look at the media. Bafana is doing such great work. They qualified for the AFCON with 2 games to spare. They've got 3rd place. They were bronze medalists at AFCON. There are players that are playing out their skin for Bafana. Yet every single time you mine for the sensational and the drama. Every single time you're looking for that headline. Can we have a press conference where people are not called plumbers or asked about them being called plumbers? Jose Rivero. Or asked about the number 10 jersey at Orlando Pirates. Stoking, looking for that drama. Can we find some insights when we speak to coaches and players so we can learn something? Can you frame stories so that they're positive and we can look at Bafana differently? Look at rugby. Look at the PR around it. Look at the buy-in from media. Look at how that has helped the image of the Springboks. Has brought eyes to the Springboks. Yet, Tina, we're still looking for drama every single place. And we're trending every single day for different things that have nothing to do with the good work that has been done at times. And you know exactly what you're doing, omitting the question. You know exactly what you're doing when you put it in a headline. And at some point, we have to start moving for the good of our football, not to the detriment of it. And can we please take these things seriously? from the journalists who are for sure going to be grilling Umangoba about this thing. And he's going to have to watch his words the next day. And he's going to have to decide whether he's going to attack or defend. And he's going to have to decide whether this is something that he needs to answer and how to answer, instead of speaking about the Carling Black Label. The media officers, what is your job other than to protect your coaches, your players, your team? The players, maybe it's now time for you guys to just come out and just stick to the boring answers and go. I love Jose Rivero because he doesn't allow himself to be brought into this. I gave credit to Kevin Johnson because try as you might to try put him into a tough spot with Kaizer Chiefs, he would even tell you that, I don't know, you're asking the wrong person. The media is not your friend. And now it's starting to affect you guys. It's affected his game time. It's affected his coach. They had to mend things. It's affected the relationship between his coach and the national team coach. How much more destruction must we see before we step in? Bafana is going to be playing South Sudan in their final group game of the AFCON qualifiers. They have, of course, already qualified by virtue of being, I think it's 7 points ahead of number 3 and number 4. So Uganda and South Africa have made it through. What's going to be very interesting for the game versus South Sudan is going to be whether Hugo Bruce makes changes. Him and Mangoba have spoken about how they've developed a relationship, and I'd imagine that we're not going to see the Sundowns players come out and play the game tomorrow. That those Sundowns players are going to sit it out, and we're going to see a bunch of newcomers and new faces really come in and get a chance at playing in that team. South Sudan is very interesting because last time we needed a last-ditch goal in order to win that game 3-2. And it just shows that we're in a completely different place than we were back then, because there was a fear that maybe Bafana wouldn't qualify after the very Motwa things that have happened. So I imagine that the game is going to be a very open game. I think South Sudan, as physical as they are, they will come out and try play for pride. I don't know if they have the same deal with South Sudan where a lot of their first team players are going to be allowed to sit out so that they can get ready when they get back into league games. So it's probably going to be a very quiet game. I don't see too much happening that's going to be make us really excited. I think it's going to be a game that's just going to have to pass. It's something they have to play and move on. But I want to see what the fringe players of Bafana have to offer. We've spoken about your Titos and Bolukli Ru and all of those type of players who have been on the fringes and haven't had the game time necessary for them to cement their places. I would love to see more of them get more game time, because my criticism of Hugo Bruce still stands. And that is simply that you cannot be relying too much on one or on, let's say, 13, 14 players. You have to start creating a pool of players that can come in and actually play for Bafana. I get really concerned when you're not changing these players. And if something happens to the Sundowns players or they're not playing well, you start bringing in other guys who are either making their debut or haven't necessarily played too many games for Bafana. There's still a lot of football that we're going to play, and I think there's going to be a need for a bigger squad of people that are going to be ready. I'm glad to see Tito getting some minutes. I would love to see him play a full game here, for example, so that he can also get his legs under him. The sad part is that we're still going to have faced the problem where the fringe players don't get to play with the first team. Should Hugo Bruce make the changes I am thinking of tomorrow. But I think it's a start to get the guys off and running. I just want to give credit to Bafana for doing the incredible work that they're doing and bringing hope back to the team. and with all of the bring hope back to the country, and with all of the different things that have happened in terms of the dramas and and those games, and Bruce still being questioned, I'm just glad to see a competent Bafana team. I don't think this AFCON group was that hard to get out of, but for a team that struggled to get into AFCON at some point, I think Hugo Bruce has done a stellar job. We'll see how we play versus South Sudan, and hopefully we'll carry the momentum we got from the AFCON into the next one, and maybe this time we can go out and win it. I really want us to qualify for the World Cup. That is the big goal. We haven't seen a World Cup in a very long time, so hopefully Hugo Bruce can make that happen. But well done. Kudos to the boys. Kudos to the performances they've shown, and kudos to qualifying. I don't think there's too much more we can say about that. Let's go out and give a show versus South Sudan, and really sign off with a very good feeling to cover all of this negativity that follows Bafana. Guys, it's been incredible. I'll see you on the next one.